Hello, my name is Brittany D. I am a psychic medium and spiritual teacher. My divine purpose is to assist in the expansion of the collective consciousness and to help you become more connected with the divine. This is a space to remember all that you truly are and ignite the possibilities of your highest potential. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm super excited for this episode. I have one of my true soul brothers on the call today, which isn't always, so I'm super, super grateful. His name is Cody, and he's an empowerment specialist, which is probably why we click so well. Thank you so much, Cody. I'm so glad to have you on, dude. What's good? How are you?
I am super excited to be here, especially after these solstice energies, that are still lingering from yesterday. I think this is the perfect time for this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that eclipse before, and then
I know.
Oh my I know.
Then we got Lionsgate in August. I'm super excited.
Yeah. We're building up. Yeah, something serious. So yeah, it's been good. Okay, so tell us a little bit, just, so that people have a gist of exactly, not exactly what you do, because I know Cody does so much. So we're trying to sum it up, but he's super powerful healer, and I don't say that about everybody. So we'll just say that. And just give us a gist of kind of what your offerings are and what you do.
So it's kind of funny you say that I do everything, because I really feel that I do, I could write 100 things on a piece of paper and just be I do all of this. But I'm really trying to step into my zone, my niche. And it's really coming to this place of empowering individuals to stand in the uniqueness of who they are, and really be able to find that self-confidence to walk their path and to do what they feel in their heart that they're supposed to, Part of that with me is I stutter. I've had crippling social anxiety for 29 years of my life, and only recently I'm coming out of that, because I am being called to be a content creator. I have to be pretty empowered in myself to be able to hone my biggest struggle and to turn it into my biggest strength,
Absolutely. And I was just having a conversation with someone. We were doing a live, it was Sunday, and I was telling him my story about losing my dad, and how going to mediums and connecting with him is that was my biggest trauma, was losing my dad. But then he became my spiritual teacher, but on the other side, and helped me with my gifts. And it's and now that's my main way of helping healing people is through my channeling, my mediumship. And then I was telling him about how this program that I'm in right now, it's called Mindsergasm. And the woman who's running it, she dealt, it's a sexual liberation. There's a lot of womb work and all that kind of stuff. And she dealt with this, I don't remember exactly what it's called. It starts with a G, but it's something where she literally couldn't have sex for couldn't have orgasms, nothing for 10 years. And
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. And now, she healed herself and liberated herself from that, and now she helps people with womb work. And she's
how it works.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it just goes to show that that's really what you walk through. That's probably one of your biggest traumas. Is
by far
likely related to what your biggest gift is to this world. It's just how it works.
It definitely is.
So, yeah, it's so crazy. So, just tell us a little bit more about, I feel we should start with, what really is, let's dial in, the authentic self. What is the authentic self?
So, there's so many different ways to view it, but, with me, I think I'm just going to play off this today, because I did a few videos on this yesterday. So like being my authentic self is really owning all of me. And that's my stutter as well. You know, like that's who I am. So like I've been trying to repress that for so long. And there's other things too, you know, but when I really start to like lean on these things that I have had shame around or trauma, which is technically my authentic self, is really where I become empowered, you know? So like living my authentic self is accepting all of who I am, the stuff I like about myself, the stuff I don't, the stuff that scares me that's inside, like the thoughts that I have, etc., because they all hold some sort of value at some level, you know? So realistically, the authentic self is just kind of all of me. And a thing, too, that I'm starting to learn is that my authentic self is constantly changing. You know, I've always thought that my authentic self was like the end all be all, you know, like this thing that I'm striving for. Like
wholeness, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But as I go through my journey, who I am authentically is constantly changing. Like as long as I'm showing up, you know, and like being real and transparent, like that is my authentic self.
That's such a good point. I never really thought about that, how it changes and it shifts. It really, because it's not like let's say 2 years ago, I was still being very authentic, but that's not my authentic self today. It's
exactly.
Not anything really at all like it. I changed so rapidly.
Oh, I don't know. And like coming to this like realization too is like helping me a lot with like my self confidence and my self-worth. And like I'm learning to be compassionate now too, because like understanding that like this is all of me and I'm right here, you know. It's kind of stopping me from striving, you know, like obviously like I want to expand and heal and grow and all of this stuff, but it's now becoming more fluid. It's more of I show up each day and I ask for guidance and then I follow those steps, but I'm not really searching for anything outside of myself, you know. Whereas for years I was trying to become this end goal of what I thought my authentic and powered self is, when like now I just realize it's who I am right now, which makes for so much more fluidity in my day. And I know, right? And like it's nice too, because like if something isn't working for me, I can now like let it go and understand that it's not in flow of like with where my energy is supposed to be right now. Where in the past, because I would be striving, or like I think I need this thing so I can become this, like I would just smash my head against the wall until I was bloody and bruised and like shaming on myself, you know. It's really just this huge like 180 that's happened lately. I absolutely fucking love it.
Oh, and I see it. Like even just since the last time that I talked to you, I'm like, damn, dude, he has shifted. Like, talk about somebody who does the work.
Yeah, I've been putting it in. Yeah, thank you. I've been putting it in like crazy. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like, you know, we can't really offer this stuff until we move through it ourselves. You know, absolutely. That's just how it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I actually was just having a conversation with another healer today, just on Instagram, but she was like, dude, I thank you so much for just the interaction that we're having, because just the, like, your level of respect and like holding, we were talking about astrology and how people like hold you to your sun sign. It's like, oh, well, you're a Libra, so blah, 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 blah. You know, and it's just like, and it was really triggering to her because she's an astrologist, and she was like, this is people not using these things sacredly. They're just learning, you know, reading an astrology book and then regurgitating information, and it can be really harmful and painful to people. And
yes, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, and it's super important for us as, you know, educators or healers or teachers or mentors or whatever category you fall in, to make sure that we've not just learned the information, but also integrated it into our experience and living it in order to really be able to share that with others. It's just it's a must. And I love that social media creates so many, like there's like you can blossom and I love that these platforms create that, but it also creates the ability for people to just regurgitate information and regurgitate information and you know? And I think that's what kind of makes people like you and I stand out, is because people,
I was just going to say that.
People can feel whenever you're regurgitating information or where you're living it, when you're being what you preach. You're not just literally keep repeating other shit that you saw somewhere else. I see it so much though. Like I don't even mean to laugh, but like I see it so much, and I'm like, oh man. And there's been some really challenging times with clients where they've come to me and they've called me out and they'd be like, listen, like I see this, that's not cool. Like, or this may be toxic or whatever it may be. You got to practice what you preach. And like, sometimes it's fucking hard to swallow that pill, especially when it's a client calling you out, you know? But
yes,
the realness is, yeah, you're right. That was not cool of me to say. And I'm going to make sure to make my apologies on the next call and blah, 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 and take responsibility and do what I need to do, because that is what I preach, you know? But sometimes it's a little fucking uncomfortable, and it's not, you know, that's part of being authentic though, you know?
Oh my God. It's so funny. You know, I actually think I'm blessed at this point. So like a little backstory on me. I was an addict for 17 years. So I got started with my spirituality and, you know, like being an energy healer, like while I was in my active use. And all I did was study, just like study everything, like regurgitate all this information. And then I got sober like 3.5 years ago. And since then I actually can't study. Like I try to sit with this stuff and Spirit is just like, no, you now are going to live your own story. You're going to show up and you're going to face your shadow self. And this is how you're going to learn from here on out. So
yeah, you're going to learn from me.
Right, exactly.
It's like, no, you're learning from me.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Struggle's real.
So maybe we can talk a little bit about like weight, because I feel like the biggest challenge when it comes to really being your authentic self is that it can feel really raw and vulnerable sometimes. Like there's really moments of courageousness. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like, so maybe we can try and like give some either examples or like tips or things that whenever you're kind of, cause it's almost like, to me, like whenever those like situations happen, you're like almost at a crossroads. Like you're going to be like, am I going to be authentic and like be real right now? Or am I just going to like keep doing what I've been doing because it seems easier in the present moment? It's less uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So whenever someone's standing at that crossroads, like what, like, do they feel into their bodies? Like, how do they identify? I guess that's the best place to start, is like, how do you identify what is authentic to you?
I like to play this game, and it's called Choose the Opposite. So about the last 2 weeks or so, because I've went through this huge shift. I don't know how to explain it. Something has happened where fear is not holding me back in places like that it used to, you know? And I'm just now saying yes to all this stuff that I would usually say no to. Like, for instance, I play softball. I seen somebody at the store who had on a softball shirt, and I'm like, hey, I would, you know, like, I want to play with you guys. I would never usually like to that, but from that is like stemming these new circumstances and these new events with like me hanging out with like new individuals and blah, blah, blah. And like me not isolating, which is my, you know, that is my place of comfort, but that's not really authentically, like, sure, I like my solitude, but like at the same time, like I love hanging out with other individuals. I love to socialize. I love to be a part of something, especially when I feel the, you know, the energy matches. Like here, you know, like I love this. This is so much fun. We're like 9 months ago, I would be terrified to hop on and like do this, you know, because of my speech. I'm kind of,
we're here right now.
so like, I definitely think that you can feel the resistance. Like, actually, I'm starting this new Facebook group called Empowered Recovery. And before we hopped on here, I was trying to set it up, and I immediately felt like I wanted to sleep. That is my body's response to, like, I'll basically say, like, you're not ready for this. You know, there's obviously some sort of block there, my subconscious, my soul, whatever, self-sabotage, blah, 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 blah. But I think, like, even just me recognizing that and having the compassion to accept that that's where I am is me living as my authentic self right now, while at the same time I know that eventually after I move through that stuff and I can step in there, that's also my authentic self. So that's what I'm saying with, like, the fluidity of it, you know. It's just I'm starting to view it a lot differently these days.
And that's it. I actually the podcast episode for this week just released today is called self-sabotage, because
I know.
Yeah.
I listened to it this morning.
Did you see that shit?
Yep, I did.
Yeah, because I like, to me, whenever I hear that, like, and maybe that, like, I'm glad, because you did list self-sabotage. Like, that is one of the things that you listed, but being authentic is accepting that that's what's happening right now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's big.
And not hiding from it, too, because then I think you're not. I think you're playing it small and you're lying, because you can still, like, know that something is operating under the surface. But when you're aware of it and you accept it, like, I think that like, that's where the shift happens, or at least it starts, you know?
And it's because you're embracing it instead of resisting and pushing it away from you. You're embracing it. That acceptance and that compassion for it brings it in, and it's like it gets a hug and it becomes a part of the unit instead of being shoved away.
For real, exactly.
So it's really like not rejecting parts of yourself is kind of what we're saying here then.
That's what I feel
those fragmentation. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, because all of those fragmented parts are all authentic self. We've just been rejecting them because we were told that we were supposed to reject them.
Yep, exactly. See, and like, this is the stuff that, you know, it's like, people don't talk about this shit like it, you know? And then all this stuff gets spread to where the authentic self is like something that you're striving for. And it's like, no, it's really, you have all of you already. It's just like, what are you hiding from and not accepting, you know? Because like, I don't think like people really like want to hear that, oh, part of my authentic self is that I have bipolar disorder. It is actually. I do have it, and I accept it, and I now use it in actually a way that helps my life, because on my manic highs, I do a lot of work. And on my manic lows, I rest. You know, exactly. See, like, that is authentically, that's just an aspect of myself, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore, you know?
Right. So I think that what it was coming to me is that it might be challenging for someone to just say, okay, well, I just accept that part of myself.
Well, of course. You have all of these things that are telling you who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to dress, like what's okay, what isn't okay. You have stigmas on mental health, addiction, so much information out there that probably isn't being shared in the proper way, you know, like, how can you really accept who you, it's so hard, you know, like, yes, you do eventually have to like to do the inner work, but at the same time, I can still have compassion for individuals who haven't started yet, or who are scared to, or confused. That's just the society that we live in, you know?
So that brings me to like, part of me feels like in order to really not just be, and this is just me talking about my life right now, is that in order for me to really be and live in my authentic self, and maybe this is I don't know, I might be having a breakthrough right now. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm trying.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because part of me feels that in order to truly live and be in my authentic self, like be supported in that and be able to be in that full expression, that I need to be in a place, like a physical location that is supportive of that. But then right as I said that, I was thinking about one of my dear friends. His name is Bob. He lives on the farm that I used to work on. And he's in like Hoboken town where like gayness is not okay. And like, especially feminine. And like, he's like really quirky and he has this really funny laugh and it's wonderful. But to everyone else, it's like very, not accepted is the simple way, but he fully embraces it, fully accepts it, and he does not give a fuck. So it's like, is this just a program? Is this just a thought of mine that I have to be somewhere that is more supportive, makes it easier for my authentic, because it's not, he will admit, like, it's not easy to be in that authentic expression. Like, he definitely gets, people yelling at him or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? Like, comments, this and that, where he's constantly combating it, especially because he's so feminine. I don't know if it's just because it would make life easier if I wasn't constantly combating the fact, like, for example, I don't eat, like, I'm vegan and I eat very clean and and like, they don't even have really, I mean, they have options around here, but like, when I lived in Cali, like, they had like hella options for the type of food that I eat. So it's easier for me to be my authentic self there because more people are on that vibe. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep,
so
I do.
Let's walk through this breakthrough because I feel like I'm having a breakthrough right now.
I think that just plays into like, how easy do you want it, and like, how accepting are you of the fact that like to maybe just to like step into like more of who I am and to live more in alignment, that I might need to facilitate these things around me. So that's either like the people you interact with, the place you live, blah, 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 but I also feel this is like kind of for me, but it's from spirit. There's a reason why when we first come online that we aren't surrounded by all that stuff, because it's supposed to be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like that's really like where we build our foundation, like I didn't have anything. I had like 3 friends on Facebook, and it was me, and I was isolating in a room for years,
yes. Dude, I literally was in the middle. I was like, what the fuck, spirit? Because I had just moved. Like within a month. I had just moved to this apartment in the middle of the woods by myself. Like, I just left my partner. I was in the middle of the woods by myself. I literally had 3 friends, like 3 physical friends, and I had just met them like a month or so. They weren't like real deep, like soul connection friends. And then spirit just fucking blasts me open, and I'm like in the middle of the woods completely by myself, and I'm like, what the fuck? But I needed that.
Oh,
like, I literally, if I would have been in such a supportive place, then honestly, what I probably would have done is I would have just adopted, all of their behaviors instead of discovering my own. So
exactly.
I had to be secluded, literally in the middle of the mountains and by myself, have like no friends, in order to really anchor into my own, what my like own authentic path. And
my phone will not shut the fuck up right now. Why? I turned you off for a reason. Oh my God. Sorry.
Hey, that's a jam though. It's
a good ass jam. I love hip hop.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's because now where I'm at in my path, it would be more in alignment to be in a community of people that are like really anchored in the, you know, conscious community, and, you know, even just the grocery stores, like they use, I don't know, like there's still like plastic bags galore here. Like you can't even use those in Cali. Like you're literally not, it's against the law. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just the culture. I love Louisville. I love my family. I do love my community, my people here, but it's just like the culture is just so, I don't know. Like another example. Okay. My brother got his new 72-inch screen TV that he watches his, you know, basketball games on and blah, blah, blah. And I was waiting for him to leave. We were going to Lowe's or Home Depot or something. And so he was in the bathroom and he was taking a while. I'm guessing he was just taking a poop. And so I went in my purse and I grabbed my book and I started reading my book because I was just sitting there bored. You know, I'm like, I'm not going to play on my phone. Like I wanted to read my book. And so I'm like sitting there reading, and he comes out of the bathroom and he was like, I have a brand new 72-inch TV in front of you, and you're sitting here reading a book. And I'm like, see, this is what I mean.
As you should, though.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, this is what I mean when I'm like, I'm just different than you guys. Like, I love you guys, but I'm just different than you. And I
see, but you're showing them that it's all right, though, too, to like to that stuff.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and this is the conversation that I just had with my best friend this morning when we were getting our nails done, is that it is wonderful to be that example and to show that, but sometimes you don't always want to be that person.
Yes,
like I want to be held. I want someone to show me the example of my next level up. You know, I want someone to host the event. I don't always want to be the one hosting. You know what I mean? Like, it's great to be a leader, but I also want to be led naturally. Yes. You know, I think it's a good move to leave. I think it is. I think it's in a
maybe that's what you need. And here might be some confirmation, actually. So over Lionsgate, I'll actually be in California at Mount Shasta.
What?
Yeah, I'm co-facilitating a goddess retreat for. So maybe, you know, you are supposed to head back to Cali.
Yes. Oh my God, dude, that's so fucking tight. That's amazing. Dude,
I'm so excited. It's a dream come true.
I'm a little curious though, and we'll get back to the topic, guys. Sorry, let me just ask him this real quick. It's a goddess retreat, so that sounds like females, but you're co-facilitating?
I work with divine feminine energy. Huh. Almost exclusively, actually. I always have.
I have the guy I did the live with on Sunday. He's the same way. He's like,
it's really weird.
He's like, it just
is what it is.
Yeah.
I accept it. You know, that's my authentic self. There is obviously still some like masculine energy, you know, that I use because I am, you know, both of them. But specifically with like channeling and stuff like that, like I bring through like the energy of Kuan Yin, of Isis, Kali, Lakshmi, you know, like that stuff. Yeah. So yes, it is confusing that I'm co-facilitating a goddess retreat, though. I totally get it.
No, I was just curious. Okay, so let me try and, as the host, try and veer us back on topic, guys. Sorry. Honestly, it's like two homies just hanging out this week, guys. I'm sorry.
Exactly. It's really all it is.
Okay. Recenter here. Okay. So authenticity is also living in your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to really anchor in and live in your truth, you have to know what your truth is. So maybe we should talk about discovering your truth. Like, is that kind of going back to that yes thing and just like trying different things, trying new things?
That's the only way that I learn. I can sit in my head all day, every day about all this stuff that may or may not be true until I actually step into it. That's the only way that I find things out, you know?
Makes sense.
I'm either that or I can have conversations with others who I trust as well. But, you know, until I actually start to live all of these things in my brain, I really don't know shit, you know? And who knows? Because I could actually show up to this goddess retreat and then like find out like, holy shit, I bring through a lot more masculine energy than I really even, you know, thought of yet. But I'm not going to understand these things until I step into it. Yeah, you know?
Yeah. So there's action. There's an action.
Oh.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, there's this movie, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's Jim Carrey is the main character.
It's Yes Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but there's a little bit that I feel like that pushes, although I love it, I feel like it a little bit pushes, like you're not authentic. Because if you don't mean that yes, like there's a sacred yes and a sacred no. You know what I mean?
There's still like boundaries.
Yeah.
And like intuition involved. I'm just not going to walk around and like somebody hands me some heroin. I'm like, yes, of course. Like this is what I'm doing today. No, I don't fucking think so.
Well, that movie's extreme, but it
there's
is.
Obviously still boundaries involved though, you know?
Okay. And that is, I love that movie though. I really do. So then that would also be getting to know, like there's so like basically this is all, being your authentic self is about really getting to know yourself in order to be able to know your boundaries, in order to be able to know what you're called towards, in order to be able to know what's actually in alignment with you and what's your truth and all these things. So how does one get to know themselves?
I'm going to kind of flip this really fast because I feel I'm supposed to. I think our traumas teach us a lot about that too. I don't know why I'm supposed to bring it up, but I feel I am because I do a lot of trauma healing as well. On like the very opposite spectrum of just like saying yes and trying all this stuff, I feel like our traumas teach us the other end of it, like the things that we know that we don't want, who we are not, the appropriate boundaries that we actually want, like in our life, etc. You know, and through actually healing that too, you find out a lot about yourself. Like I have learned more through my trauma healing than realistically probably anything else.
Yeah.
You know,
that's gold.
So
right there.
Just kind of gonna shed some gratitude and appreciation on all the shit that I've been through.
Yeah, because that is how I got to know myself. Was my trauma? Like, honestly. Well, I mean, I think before my awakening and like really going in depth healing with my trauma, like really going on the healing journey, I did start to do things to get to know myself. Like the first time I hung out with myself, that was a big deal. Like I was so intimidated to just I was like, I'm going to spend a whole night just by myself. Like in
it's
my
fucking
own head.
Weird.
Yeah. This is really fucking weird. Like, I think I'm just going to call somebody and talk to them on the phone for 2 hours. So I think there is like steps, like if we're boiling it all the way back down, there's like steps of intentionally, you know, not being as codependent, not depending on things or people or places outside of you as much, and starting to reel it back in and give yourself that attention and that time and that nurturing. But then moving from that, as you start your healing journey, then that's whenever as you heal those things, because it's kind of like, you know, manifesting, you know, like manifesting tricks, like the contrast is what shows you what you don't want. And then that's how you can manifest what you do want, because you already know what you don't want. So it's like kind of the same thing, but just with yourself is like kind of what I'm hearing, what you're saying here. It's like what I know that I don't want to experience or don't want to participate in or don't want to, you know, like give myself to, then that's how I know what to give myself to.
I feel like my head just blew open.
Yeah?
That was pretty good. Oh my God. I can feel it. It's like splitting.
I hope your guys' heads are blowing open.
Oh my God.
It's just another perspective of being grateful for our wounds and our trauma. Like there's so much blessings in them. There's so much wisdom. There's such a gift and oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for my trauma. Like,
and that's where the empowerment is fucking gratitude for it. Because then you're not stuck in self-pity or woe is me. You know, I've been through so much. It's like, no, I've been through some shit and like, here I am, you know?
Yeah. I actually, not in a shit talking way whatsoever, but there was this woman who wanted to come on the podcast and I was kind of asking her like what, you know, like I did with you, what's the topic, and she wanted to spend the entire episode telling everyone everything that she had been through and what her trauma was. And it was the most interesting timing because I had just like, she messaged me. And so like, it was like just so weird timing because the day before she messaged me, I wrote a whole post about how I will not feed you wearing your trauma like a trophy. Like, I literally just wrote an entire post about that. And then I got that message and I was going back and forth and I was like, I have to practice what I preach. And I was
just going to say, seems like Spirit's like, are you sure that this is how you feel about this?
Yeah.
We're going to really see what you're about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
I was like, I'm so
That's hilarious how that shit happens. Oh my God, dude.
I know. The alignment. It's wild. But it is, I think there's, you know, that's that victim mentality is like wearing, like I did for the longest time. You know, my dad passed when I was 3 years old and my brother was a drug addict and he abused us and blah, you know, that was my story over and over and over and over again. And it ruled my life because it was such my story instead of now it being my gift. You know, now the power is not focused and projected on them. Now all of that's back on me. Yes, this is my story and I love my story and I'm grateful for my story because all of that story that I kept repeating is what made me who I am now, able to serve in the capacity that I do. Mm-hmm.
Preach. You know, it's kind of funny you said it because like that's like the big shift actually that's happened with me is I found out about 3 weeks ago that I've been sitting in self-pity, like as a father with my partner, like I'm in my business, this, that, and the other thing. And I've just been sitting in this place of complete bullshit and disempowerment, like feeding myself these lies about, oh, I deserve better and like this shouldn't have happened. And it's like, no, actually, I'm happy this happened because I could just see all this fucking shit and I'm going to stand up and use it. And like, dude, this last 3 weeks has been amazing.
Oh, I can tell.
I've made so much progress. Like, it's crazy.
I was like so excited to talk to you today because we haven't talked in 3 weeks. Basically, like, you know, and I've been kind of curious. I'm like, okay, you know, like Spirit tells me when to reach out to people and stuff. And I'm like, okay, nope, okay. You know, you pop in my head. It's like, nope, okay, all right, I don't know what's going on. And then like next time I see you, you're like a total shift, like this, like totally new. And I'm like, yes. It's beautiful. I'm so proud of you. And so how about, since it's so potent and so fresh right now, talk about what that shift, the actual experience of the shift was like. Like, was there a lot of shedding? Was there a lot of purging? Or was there more like identifying and like what was the actual shift like?
So I have my own process, as we all do, you know, and I do a lot of shadow work. So I know my process pretty fucking well. For myself, it's, I need to become aware first. And that's why I have other individuals in my life who can spot my blind spots, you know. You know, even though we are powerful healers and mediums, like we really need other people in our lives. You
Absolutely.
know? It's just the only way it works.
Reflection. We literally all need each other. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. I just really
we do
want to affirm that.
It's true though. And like, and so my mentor, we'll call him, working through my recovery stuff, you know, and it's like, wow, dude, I really am like sitting in this energy. And like, I have been for like years. And like, that's a weird feeling when like you see something that's been happening for years, when at least with myself, where I feel that I'm pretty on my shit, you know? And it's like, wow, this is years of me sitting in this energy in all these areas too. Like it's not just here, it's fucking everywhere. That was the start. And from there, like I was on like balls to the walls, hopping in to my shadow self, like stirring the pot as much as I could while still like having spirit, you know, help me, because I know what happens when I hop in and like, I'm just, let's do it all. Like I exhaust myself and then I want to ball up and then isolate isolate for a few weeks. So like, it was a steady work through. But yeah, I mean, once I seen that, like I couldn't believe how blind I've been, but I still had compassion because I am a firm believer that when you are ready, it will show itself, you know? And that's just the way that I operate. So I don't shame myself anymore with that, you know, like, and I was ready for this huge shift. And I'm here. It was a lot of work. It was really deep work. But I'm also blessed too, because I am who I am, like as a content creator on like multiple platforms, is I actually work through my stuff now by still helping others, which is really cool, you know, because I'll like record all these healing videos and stuff that is like something I have just either like worked through or I'm like praying through for myself, which is even just like, I don't know, that's a blessing. And I really just want to like sit in that energy for a second, you know, like to help others while I help myself. Like it's really fucking cool.
It is a gift. It's truly,
you know.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's use each other to spot each other's blind spots.
Yeah.
It's just
seriously.
It's just easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I do it on my own in my life, but I also do it in my work. Like I think it's both.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because my work definitely assists and help me, but there's also like so many things that happen in my life, and I'm in the same way as far as like I just like go full. What did my ex called me fucking, that's what he said. He goes, I'm a football player. Like I go for the football tackle. Like whenever I'm like, I see a drama, I go like straight for the tackle. I'm just like wrangling it and I'm moving through it. And it's like, it is good at times to go, you know, full force and be like totally in it. But then, like you said, you literally need like 3 weeks off, you know, like after going that deep and going all the way in. So I've learned to try and balance it a little bit, but and there are still times where I feel called to go full football tackle mode. But you know, that slow process, I love, Abraham Hicks talks about how like everyone talks about quantum leaps and how like cool quantum leaps are. And she was like, but actually they're really not cool because they're shocking to your system. They're shocking to your nervous system. And so it's not actually that great for you. It's really not that great for your body. And like, I love quantum leaps. I'm all about quantum leaps because they are so exhilarating, but I was doing them all the time, like constantly trying. That was what I was aiming for. And now I'm like, no, there's no finish line. Like, let's just trot our way through this healing, you know?
I think I did just about 3 years straight of chasing those quantum leaps. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm still exhausted like 6 months later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, same.
It's too much.
Yeah, it is.
It's too much.
I did it for probably, I would say like a good 2 years or so. And it's just like,
right.
It's real. Like you really can do it. I'm not saying that it's not real. Like, but I'm like, damn, dude, this shit is exhausting as fuck.
Oh my God.
Okay, so as we wrap up here, how about let's try and give, or I'll just leave it to you as my guest here today. Let's try and go for like a few tips to really like either one, see, integrate, or anchor, or maybe one for each, your true authentic self.
All right, hold up. You said see.
Yeah, how to see it, be aware of it. Integrate it, and then anchor it, right? You have to like really anchor into it.
So for C, you need other individuals. You need the reflections. You need the people who can see your blind spots and to help you become self-aware. And a part of that too is being able to really be humble, you know, because I can show you something about yourself, but if you reject it, what does it matter? You know? So I would advise to find individuals that you trust with your vulnerability and really listen to what they have to say. For the integration part,
or processing, I guess is the word.
I was going to say, I really think that you need to learn how you operate and how you process. You know, there's obviously, you can do hook work and have others help you, which for myself is really how I've learned my process, because I've like taken small pieces out of all of these things, and like that's how I've created mine. So really just like learn how you work through things and then just go back to that, because you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel, you know, like, and I think that's where, at least for myself, I kept trying to do that for years, and that just wasted so much time and energy, you know. Now I know how I operate, and I can move through things pretty easily, you know. And then for the anchoring, I think that's where you find gratitude. When you can fully be like, I'm happy this fucked up shit happened, you know, that's when I think you've anchored it, you know. And then on the overall scale, my biggest piece is just have some compassion for yourself. I get it, because I was my own worst enemy for basically my whole life, you know. But I've just learned that there's no real reason to beat myself up anymore. You know, I'm a human. And yeah, sure, I'm this big old spiritual soul, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I'm a human. You know, I'm going to not only make these mistakes and fail, but that's part of the experience here, you know. And it's actually, right. And not only that, it's an integral part of it too, because that's where you that's where you learn and where you grow. So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, dear.
Absolutely. This is fun.
I'm so grateful to have you on here. What's the best way as far as like if people want to connect with you or book a session with you? Do you want me to drop your website or your what link do you want me to put in the show notes?
So actually my website gets started today, actually.
Okay.
So like it'll be up in September. You can find me on my Facebook business page, which if you want, I can send you the link. But I am Cody Phetteplace on all platforms.
It'll be in the show notes, guys, though. I'll drop it in the show notes. Yeah. Boom, boom.
Easy peasy.
Thank you so much for hopping on. I'm so grateful for you. I always love spending time with you. And I will drop his links in the show notes, guys. Seriously, go check this dude out. Like, you just wait. Y'all are going to watch him blow up. I'm here to witness. And I love it. Thank you, dear. I'm so grateful for you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed that episode. Please subscribe, leave a review, and if this was impactful for you at all, please share it with others. This is how we can help each other. Much love and namaste.